nightmare. I downloaded a mod called Memories. Now I wish I didn't. Part 3. Dylan. Written and submitted by Inevitable Cookie 74. It was unlike any case I'd ever seen before. 2 disappearances, no signs of break-in, no bodies, no DNA, nothing. The victims just vanished. This was all very confusing to me. You could probably guess my expression when I was told yet another person had disappeared. A young 15-year-old boy named Sam. His parents were worried that he wasn't answering his phone, and they came to their home only to find their boy was nowhere to be found. He was just gone. I was bewildered. How could someone just vanish like this? How could 3 people just vanish like this? This was the question I was asking myself for days, trying to find anything that would help me solve this mystery. For a while, I had nothing to work with, until I found something. At first, I thought it was nothing, but something in my gut just told me that this was it. This is what I needed. So I looked into it. There's this game called Elden. It's like mini games. It comes with mods that you can add. While I was searching the victims' homes, I found that each person had downloaded a mod titled Memories minutes before they had disappeared. Why was that? I wondered. Did the kidnappers use this mod to track his victims and go to their homes? No. There had been a sign of a break-in or something. They'd been stalking our victims for some time to pull such a clean crime. I had my partner investigate, and he said there was no traces of stalking. I would have just ended the search and deemed the crime a cold case. However, I couldn't end it there. Something just told me to investigate the mod more. Something has to be tied to this. After work, when I got home, I decided to do some research on this mod. I googled Elden mod memories, and to my surprise, only one thing showed up. One video by an anonymous user titled "Do Not Play This Mod." I clicked the video to see a man about in his early 20s looking at the screen. He looked so broken, as if he had barely had enough strength to hold his head up. His voice was very raspy, as if he had a very sore throat, After seconds of staring, I realized it was the first victim, Ezekiel.
Hello. If you're watching this, you need to listen. I don't know if I have any time left. I don't know if they got tired of hunting for me and finally left me alone. I don't know if I'll ever even get out of here. There's a mod you can get on Elden. It's titled Memories. It'll look very appealing to your eyes, but listen to me and listen well. Don't play it. Don't even think about installing it, or you'll be trapped here too.
After the man finished talking, the video cut to black. I noticed the number of views on this video as well. There was only 2. Mine and someone else's. It was then that I realized that my gut was right. Something was wrong with that mod. But what? I decided in order to actually know what had occurred to the victims, I myself would install this mod. I already had Elden. My son had asked me to buy it for the game system. All I had to do was install the mod. After some minutes of getting the mod to work, I was staring at the menu screen of the game. I was going to hit play, but something just told me to stop. I was gonna ignore it, but in some form of divine intervention, I heard the notification sound on my phone, forcing me to stop and check. The text that I got made my blood freeze. Stop. Do not continue. Was I being watched? I looked out my windows and even the peephole in my door. There was no one there. I got another text. I will only warn you once. If you continue from here, you're on your own. Seeing these messages just made me want to turn the TV off and uninstall the mod, but I just needed to know what happened. However, I was just too creeped out to continue, so I turned off the TV and went to bed, hoping to figure it all out in the morning. As I tried to fall asleep, I kept hearing bumps and shuffling in the hallways. After 10 minutes of this, I called out for my son to go back to his room. No response, but the shuffling stopped at least. I turned back in my bed and tried to go back to sleep. Once again, there it was, I heard the shuffling. Tired of the noises, I got up and went into the living room. Found my home computer turned on, displaying a message on the screen that read, "Play with us, Dylan." I went to turn the computer off, thinking it was a prank from my son. As I sat in the chair to log off the computer, I felt a presence behind me, an eerie presence. Something told me to turn around and look behind me, so that's what I did. Looking behind me, I saw a figure in my kitchen. The lights were off, so I couldn't see much of him, and all I saw was his long red hair. He looked like one of those characters from the game, but I don't remember his name. I was just gonna say something to him until he turned to look at me, and he had a sinister smile on his face.
"Hello, Dylan. Would you like to play with us?"
I froze as he walked up to me. He loomed over me, making me feel so uneasy. Who are you?" He interrupted me, his voice sounding just normal enough, but slightly distorted.
"You're much older than the rest of them, but we're open to new friends nonetheless. Come, sit. You looked so stressed. I know what would help. A game. Come and play. I promise you'll feel better. It'll almost be as if you've been pulled into a whole different place. Come on. Come and play."
The red-haired man grabbed my hand and led me to the TV. So I followed him. I couldn't control my legs. I couldn't back away. He sat me on the floor in front of the TV. As he turned it on, I found that he seemed to have started the game for me. He even made me an avatar.
"Come, sit. Sit here and play the game. Come on."
I couldn't stop myself from grabbing the controller, as if I was in a trance of some sort. The man smiled wider as he guided my fingers on the controller, making me move the figure. I was transfixed to the screen, unable to turn away.
"Yes, that's it. You're doing it. You feel better?"
I found myself nodding uncontrollably to his question.
"You know what'll be even better? Seeing this beautiful place for yourself. It's so real, isn't it? Almost as if you could just walk into the screen. Come on, get up."
The red-haired man yanked my arm, forcing me to stand to my feet. He started guiding me to the TV screen.
That's it. Now step inside, come on.
I was going to obey the man until I heard my son call out for me.
Dad? Dad!
I snapped out of my trance, thinking my son was in danger, so I pulled away from the man and started running upstairs, practically ignoring the fact that there was a stranger in my house.
No. No!
I ignored the man as I ran into my son. Ben, what's going on?
Dad, my TV, I think it glitched out.
I looked at his screen. It displayed the outside of my home. There was something standing outside at my front door. This figure also resembled a character from the game, however, he looked so distorted. The figure was tall and grotesque, and they were looking down as if they didn't want their face to be seen. I then heard footsteps coming upstairs, and it was then that I remembered there was a stranger in my home. A stranger in my home. I just closed the door and locked it just before the red-haired man reached us. He started to groan in frustration as he banged on the door, causing my son to jump.
Open the door. The game is not over yet.
He banged on the door even harder, and my son started crying.
Dad, what's going on?
As soon as my son spoke, the banging stopped.
So, there's another one in there. What luck.
I froze and held my son close, and the man walked back downstairs. Then all sounds just ceased.
Dad? What was that? Who was he?
I'll explain later, bud. Just hide in the closet. Do not come out until I say so.
Okay, Dad.
With that, my son crawled into the closet and closed the closet doors. I was going to confront that man. I left the room and went downstairs to see the red-haired man sitting on my couch. Who are you, and what do you want from us?
Who we are is irrelevant. What we want is for you to play with us. You humans are so persistent to run away from us.
Well, we don't want to play with you. Get out of my home. The man smiled sadistically.
I'm afraid I won't be doing that, Dylan.
After saying this, the man stands and starts laughing. The thing outside starts banging on the front door, and the TV screen turns on to static as a creature resembling a character from the game starts crawling out of it. I looked in horror as the front door broke open from the force of the banging. I was surrounded.
You see, Dylan, we tried to be nice to you. We tried to let you come inside all on your own. But you continued resisting us, Dylan. You didn't want to play with us. Now we'll be taking you there. And you're not going to stop us, Dylan.
After the red-haired man finished speaking, the other two grabbed me, and I tried to struggle to free myself, but I couldn't. I saw my phone buzz indicating that I had got a text message. The red-haired man grabbed my phone.
That Ezekiel keeps trying to delay the inevitable. He'll never realize that these warnings are pointless.
He drops the phone, smashing it to pieces, then walks up until his face is just inches from mine.
Now, where's your friend, Dylan? Where's Benjamin?
I stayed quiet. I wasn't going to tell them where Benjamin was, even if it killed me.
So, you're giving us the silent treatment? That's okay. We don't need that boy anyway. We have a new friend right here. So we'll just take you for now.
And with that, the two other creatures dragged me into the TV screen, and the red-haired man smiled cruelly as I passed out. I woke up and I saw two other figures around me. Once my eyes adjusted, I realized that these two were the two victims, Sam and Anna. They were unconscious, and the third was nowhere to be found. I tried to approach him, but something was holding me back. I couldn't move. I watched as the red-haired man, along with two other creatures, walked inside the room. One of the creatures was tall and wore a tore-up cloak, had a large tail, and half of their face was covered in horns. The other one was massive, bearing armor, and he was staring at the boy with an excited look on his face. The red-haired man and the cloaked creature walked up to the girl, Anna. He took her unconscious body and pushed her into the cloaked creature's chest. She started to sink slowly into the darkness of his cloak, almost as if she was being absorbed. Once her entire body was absorbed into the creature, it fell silent on the floor. Then the large armored man approached Sam with the red-haired man. The red-haired man grabbed Sam's body and gave it to the large armored man, who was jumping in excitement. Sam was absorbed quickly, and then the giant also fell silent to the floor. The red-haired man turned to look at me, smiled a wide grin.
Your turn, Dylan.
What did you do to them? Where's Ezekiel?
I had to get rid of Ezekiel for interfering with our plans. But that doesn't matter now.
The red-haired man starts to approach me slowly, his eyes growing wider and wider, and his smile becoming more and more sinister. No! Get away from me! Don't touch me! He leaned in closer to my face.
Not yet, Dylan. I want you to suffer just a little bit more. Become weaker. The weaker ones are more submissive.
After saying that, he leaves the room, leaving me in the dark with the two unconscious monsters in front of me. I can at least move my arms, but that's all. I'm trapped here. I need help. I need to know that Benjamin is okay. Someone, please help me. Please! Thank you for being a part of this living nightmare. We hope to disturb you again soon.